weiter geht's mit der Hauptquest. Tag des Urteils. Dann porten wir mal rüber und legen direkt los.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of death at station.
Ich sollte wieder einen anderen Trupp nehmen. Für die war das.
Could Farina really be here? That's Farina, right over there. She really is here all on her.
Should I just give up? What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of...
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the arts. They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they?
Das glaube ich nicht.
That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with him.
Meine Güte, sind die aber schnell am Rennen. Hier.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What? What is...
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste...
Und hier lebt jemand drin?
Paimon's exhausted.
No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheep.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening?
Yeah,
It can't be.
well, there's no need.
Yeah, but the people... It's true. I once had... I've tried all but all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. Indeed, fate. But just now, it all, as long as the... Don't worry. I will keep... Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good... Don't take any of what I just said.
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being on.
Share my burden. That's impossible. A witness. And if Tevat is...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado...
Do not forget, however, that...
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands...
Looking for excuses again.
I raised my hands I'm sorry. You, Harn. But now, I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of this time. Applaud and rejoice. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
What the fuck?
Oh, now we're making history!
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to... Also, even though she's still acting...
All right, then.
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tevat, my accuser and fated opponent. Also, please allow me to ask just how much...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the
Navia,
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain... The people's resent, moreover. According... So you...
And their goal was...
That's right.
As the super ultimate version of the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson was an arc. My thanks, Farina. Of course, this performance we had to select.
So, in other...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster.
Then, You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure also that as...
Yes, that is...
Well, Chlorand, as for you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage. Oh? It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very...
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to... This is a
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Wait, so in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon. I didn't think this is the first time. A Fatui, the Fortress of Mirror. According to Monsieur I nearly lost my awesome friend. Not the words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervylette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution, of course. It is only...
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah,
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would see. Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as...
And
well, and if I...
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even...
Who gave you that idea?
A curse. I once thought it possible that the but in light of this...
You sensed it too, huh, Nerva?
Lady Farina.
Well...
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am mere... Besides, for centuries, one need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice mech...
doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't think...
Ja, gut. Kann
You
ja,
tried to reference the Urteils. But
kann ja gar
weren't
nicht
you
falsch
as
liegen hier.
confused as all the rest of us when the
Didn't I make myself clear at the time?
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, you will prove your... That was no
So, you neither knew why child was declared instead of having...
The real Hydro Archon. It is true that I did not... But the Oratrice handed out... You can't...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses.
My power...
If that poses a
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their... Thus did I give up all of...
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah. No.
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's...
Hey, come now, everyone! Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar! I'm still this... Please?
If what the prosecutor said is...
Did she deceive...
Enough! That's enough! Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really does... that doesn't sound right.
Nicht. Auch nicht. Na komm, jetzt fangen wir an hier zu raten, aber naja.
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many, including those of some of my clothes. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the I do hope you'll act prudently.
Navia from the...
If Lady...
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just...
What's going on?
Due to the inherent...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now?
Miss Siegewing, if you're present...
Siege, don't be nervous. It'll just take... That should be enough.
Please announce the result.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of she was
Thank you, Miss Siegeween. Lady Farina.
Oh, wait. What did she just...
Well, however, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample. We don't want anyone...
Yeah, so it's a great...
I can't... Listen to me! Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Think about it! How also... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty.
Ja, krieg sogar ein Gänsehaut hier.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty. To be punished via the death sentence.
Was?
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence...
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Vache wasn't...
Indeed. But now...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial
Fremine! Huh, you finally made it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that...
I looked everywhere, but has the trial...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen... believe I've now...
Huh? So when you...
In truth, however, I'm
Okay. The first stone slate describes what you just said. Does that mean that the second stone slate shows Celestia? This must be the point when the third slate shows the... Well, the fourth slate is the... We didn't believe that such a... That doesn't sound quite...
The prophecy from the fortress of Meropete. If we hadn't dealt with it in time...
That doesn't sound...
Dann kann das hier gar nicht verkehrt mehr.
Perhaps what is about the truth...
Machen wir ein bisschen Hackengas. Nicht? Nicht.
It's not when not the... We know from the cave and that...
Mein Glück sollte ich kein Lotto spielen.
They'll dissolve into the primordials. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress. The prophecy's contents can... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now, but...
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
We're...
All Fontanian, the evidence... Oh, and according...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the...
Yeah, isn't the image here? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon? In the end, the people will all be... Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden... Now that the slate collection is complete, I believe I should share this truth not only with you, your hypotheses. In the Fontaine of Old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids. But if Fontanians were to ever come... Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the truth.
So we were all
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian, but it—
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. A key point of the visual on the third slate, they have not. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of. You may also therefore, that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Arc. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as—
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this—
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate, however, as for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you will. This eruption was just a small warning of the thing.
That doesn't sound— That doesn't sound—
Simplex.
That doesn't sound—
It was both dream
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be
the truth, the original sin.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in—
So we've met it at last. I understand that whale it has been greeted, and once it is.
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created
Precisely. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea.
we just—
That is correct. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting.
That battle maniac. Anyway,
It is too late. It had already, even if the entire.
That we've already done. We've come.
Indeed. I'll fight it to the end.
so the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy.
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could think ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Marina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding...
Fusolo. Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I have the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly prince. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the great... After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now, she could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so all part of the do you still remember the final scene of the prophet? In order that the prophet, under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand.
But Farina is, even though she is high.
It has indeed. It's been fun, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera.
Ja, was soll ich sagen? Gespannt, was auf jeden Fall. Ein paar interessante Sachen erfahren. Alles klar. Ich sag erstmal ciao, ciao. Bis zum nächsten Mal.